Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. This was the best movie of the year, hands down. I've never been a huge fan of Emma Stone, but lately she's been knocking it out of the park. There was Poor Things in 2023, which I thought was weird as hell, but she was really compelling in spite of the weirdness. I don't know how she took such absurd material and made it all believable, but she absolutely pulled it off. And then, much to my surprise, the same thing happened again with this movie. She made it all very believable. Bugonia follows Michelle Fuller, the CEO of a powerful pharmaceutical company who is kidnapped by a conspiracy theorist, Teddy Gatz, and his cousin Don. They are convinced she is a non-human entity manipulating humanity and the environment. Held captive and accused of orchestrating global collapse, Michelle must navigate her captor's delusions as a looming cosmic event threatens to confirm his worst fears. Okay, so this movie was a remake of a South Korean film called Save the Green Planet. I haven't seen it yet, but I plan to. I think it's actually on HBO Max right now, so I'll probably check it out after I'm done making this video. The movie is listed as a black comedy, and I guess it is unintentionally funny, but I'm not sure that's how I would classify it. I would just say that whatever genre Poor Things was, this falls squarely into that weird gray area. It's directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, a Greek director, and from what I understand, Greek directors don't have to follow
the rules.
So with that in mind, there was zero forced representation. Emma Stone played the brilliant CEO instead of Viola Davis or Keke Palmer.
Racist.
And it's not often you get to watch a movie without forced representation. And, you know, that stuff always breaks the immersion and takes me right out of it, but nothing about the casting choices here felt forced, so that was refreshing. And speaking of the cast, Emma Stone plays Michelle Fuller. She's the CEO of a pharmaceutical company, and she's the one that the main characters think is an alien. In the original film, this role was played by a man, but even still, it didn't feel forced at all. I didn't feel like there was a statement about equality being made or women being girl bosses or anything like that. The character simply existed as a CEO who happened to be female, not as a female CEO. There is a difference. I've already touched on this a bit, but her acting was just, I don't know, man. I hate to throw around the word genius, but I think this might have been genius. Jesse Plemons plays Teddy Gatz. He's a conspiracy theory obsessed beekeeper. He lives alone with his autistic cousin, Don. His mother's in the hospital. She's sick. There's some kind of medical testing done by the company that Michelle owns and Teddy works for. This serves as the initial motivation for Teddy to look a little deeper, and when he does look deeper, he sees things that may or may not actually be there. Teddy was the perfect foil for Emma Stone's character. He was unhinged, but he was intellectual. And at no point did I feel like he was outmatched by Emma Stone's character. I mean, yeah, she was a CEO, and yeah, he was a grunt-level worker at her company and a conspiracy theorist, but when they were matching wits, it never felt like either one of them outmatched the other. Then there was Aiden Delbus as Don, Teddy's autistic cousin. First off, why did this dude's hair and facial hair look like all of my son's friends at the same time? I was ready to hand this dude an Academy Award immediately. I was sitting there the whole time going, wow, this dude is amazing. He plays an autistic dude so convincingly. He must have really studied autistic people to get this all down so well. I really admire this dude. He's a true actor with a real respect for the craft. He's old school. But nope, he was just autistic in real life. I'm going to butcher this next guy's name, Stavros Haikias. He plays Casey Bird. He's a local police officer who's searching for Michelle, and at one time he was Teddy's babysitter. So there's a bunch of dialogue in there that all but states he used to fuck Teddy when he babysat him. I'm not sure who or what exactly that was for, but I guess they were trying to use this to sort of add to the idea that Teddy was mentally unstable. I don't know, giving him some dark childhood memories maybe acted as a device to further confuse the audience. It seemed unnecessary, but you tell me, why do you think they added this aspect of trauma or whatever to Teddy's character? Alicia Silverstone played Teddy's mother, and although she was peripherally involved in the plot, she didn't really do much at all, so she's barely worth a mention here. Anyway, right out of the gate, the filmmakers did something that I'm not sure anyone really understood. I just don't think very many people got it. I haven't seen any mention of it in any of the reviews that I've watched, so here it is. Chemical castration. I think to most people it just seemed like an odd choice that the character made based on paranoia or mental illness, and for all intents and purposes that is why the character did this. But I think there was a creative reason behind this choice. I think they made this choice to remove the sexual component from the equation. Now, let's be honest for a minute, that reframing matters today. We live in a world where the simple act of a man looking in the direction of a woman is considered a crime on Twitter, and that crime is called
the male gaze.
With that being the dominant perspective in the zeitgeist today, anyone that sees this movie would absolutely have viewed it as two predatory males victimizing a poor defenseless female. But the chemical castration, that got rid of the argument entirely. The move was masterful. In that one simple act, they changed the dynamic from two men kidnapping a helpless woman into two people kidnapping a helpless person. Most of the movie took place at Teddy's house. To me, that kind of thing is always a huge indicator of a strong script. When the setting doesn't change, when there's no action or adventure, when the visuals are literally four walls, the dialogue has to do all the heavy lifting. And that's where a writer can truly shine. If you can make a movie where the entire story is conversation, and you still manage to keep people entertained, that's just plain brilliance. And that's not to say the entire movie takes place in Teddy's house. There are other scenes at other locations, but the real substance comes from the scenes at Teddy's house when they're having conversations. The film was 2 hours long, and when it was over, I wanted more. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. The way the story progressed and everything unfolded was like a Hitchcock film. It was that same kind of layering technique. Each scene peels back a new layer of the big mystery, and as the movie progressed, it revealed deeper truths or deeper complications. This kind of technique is supposed to make audiences feel like they're figuring things out with the protagonist. It all happens sort of piece by piece. It builds complexity and suspense, and as the movie goes on, it reveals character motivations and the plot twists gradually. So it doesn't happen all at once, and that's exactly what this movie does. And then there was the music, the close-ups in small spaces, the wide-angle lenses. Dude, some of the framing looked like portraits. There were scenes that showed something as simple as a character just walking, where you could have grabbed any still frame and it would have worked as a photographic museum piece. And as I'm saying this all out loud, I'm realizing that, yeah, this whole movie was very Hitchcock. And I think it's worth mentioning that I'm no conspiracy theorist, but I also don't take curated facts at face value. For example, I think people are finally coming around to the fact that the moon landing never happened. I've never believed that, going all the way back to when I was a kid. And before anybody starts saying that I believe the earth is flat or anything like that, no, I don't believe that. And I don't believe lizard people are walking among us or any of the mainstream conspiracy nonsense that you see online. But I firmly believe that the moon landing never happened, which is why this movie absolutely resonated with me. Which brings me to my next point. This isn't the kind of movie that you want to watch with your phone in your hand. I have a home theater, huge screen that goes from floor to ceiling, surround sound with a subwoofer, high-definition projector, and no one is allowed to be on their phone in my theater room, because that's how you're supposed to watch a movie, total immersion, in the dark. I get that most of you probably don't watch movies this way, but in this specific case, you should make an exception. Silence your phone, turn off the lights, hit play, because if you miss the smallest detail, you may as well not even watch it. You miss a step, you lose the entire rhythm. And, you know, honestly, if you're anything like me, you figured out the plot twist from the 15-second teaser YouTube was showing every day when this thing was still in theaters. But even knowing what was coming didn't really affect my enjoyment one bit. It did the opposite. It felt satisfying. It's not always necessary to subvert expectations. Sometimes the payoff can be exactly what audiences expect, and it can still be satisfying. This was that. This movie was everything that I didn't even know I wanted, and I'm glad I watched it. So, should you see it? I honestly don't know how to qualify this. The movie was smart, so I'm not convinced that it's for everyone. Most people thought Midsommar was high art. I thought it was the worst movie ever made. Most people think the Fast and Furious franchise are among the worst movies ever made. That is unironically my favorite movie franchise of all time. I'll admit that my taste in movies is unconventional, so I don't know if I would recommend this one to you. I recognize that it's not for everyone. The fact is, I loved it so much that I imagine most people just won't get it. You can take that however you want, because that's how I feel, so I'll just say proceed with caution. And although I really hate the word quirky, because of the way it's been co-opted on the internet, I'll say that if I had to choose one word for this movie, I would say it's definitely quirky. But I'm curious, did you watch it? Did you like it? Interesting side note, right as I was wrapping up the research aspect of this video, I just saw that the director, Yorgos Lanthimos, also directed the aforementioned Poor Things. So old Yorgos and Emma definitely have that Tim Burton Johnny Depp chemistry happening. And man, I can't wait to see what they do next. Anyway, that's it. Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know all the reasons I'm an idiot in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, click notifications, and I will see you next time.